much, Chris. So my name is Karl Grün, and I hope you can hear me. And I'm from Austrian Standards International, member of, yeah, I hope you can see it now.
Yes,
member of, thanks for the confirmation. Member of CEN, ISO, and ETSI. And I'm very happy to present to you what we are doing in the EFPF of this European Factory Platform project. So what's the situation? It's not a very pleasant one. If we speak about marketplace in the digital manufacturing domain, we have to also face that it's all about platform economy. And in Europe, we are in the unpleasant situation that in the business to consumer area, the battle or the competition for platform economy we have almost lost. So we have to focus our forces on business to business platforms. And at the same time, we have also to realize there are already a lot of different solutions, different platforms. The challenge is how we can bring these different platforms together to generate a European marketplace. And one way to give an answer is not to say, and that's not the option, to say here is another platform, but to federate these different platforms in the digital manufacturing domain. And that's the objective of the project EFPF. So I will use the acronym of this project, and you can see it, the logo. So the objective of EFPF is to provide a federated digital manufacturing platform, bringing all the platforms together, but every platform can operate on its own. It's just an offer. So this platform to gain a critical mass already cooperates with so-called base platforms. You can see it on the right side on the top. And we are operating with them to see how we can enable them that they can make, let's call it, yes, a trade exchange of goods and services between them. And for this, we have the objectives here that we have a so-called unified portal where the existing and especially new users, I will come to that later with the open calls, can interact and exchange products and services via these federated platforms. And I will use now the laser pointer. The main component here is the data spin. I will also come to that later when we present then the idea, as Olga has already announced, a CEN workshop in that field. So since all this is based on technology, it's more than obvious or self-evident that standards have a play here, have a role here. And standards are never for their own, they have a supporting function to build trust among partners, to ensure interoperability, comparability, and of course, contribute that all this is functioning in a safe and a secure way. Our role as a standardization partner in the project is to lead the standardization related task, which means that we have here the responsibility to contribute that all activities in the project are aligned with not only current regulations, of course, this is a question of legal compliance, but also with ongoing standardization activities. Here we say also that there is an interplay between regulations and standardization. Some of you might know that especially in Europe, there is an interaction between EU directives and regulations and voluntary standards. This is called the new approach, or nowadays the so-called new legal framework, where the EU regulator, the Commission, focuses on the most essential requirements, and standards are there to, let's say, how these essential requirements can be better defined for certain products, but also systems. One of these regulations, for example, is the RED or the Machinery Directive, etc., etc. Of course, when we say how can we support, first we have to know in which domains or which functions, applications the EFPF platform is operating. You see here a list of domains, for example, cybersecurity, blockchain technology, digital twins, shop floor automation, etc. So what we have done is first to see where are the technical activities in the project, and then derive from that where are the standards to support all these activities. What we have applied here is a well-known methodology. Some of you might know from management systems, the plan, do, check, act methodology. So the first step was to define a standardization plan. How have we done this? Very, straightforward. We have asked especially the technology partners in the project, what are you doing in the project? Where are your pains? What are your activities? Tell us. Are you aware? Are there any standards supporting you in fulfilling these activities? And we have compared that to our own analysis, where we then have merged our common findings together to have this standardization plan. This was also supported by awareness raising program, where we have introduced to all partners what standardization is about. And let me say, we not only focused on the well-recognized standardization bodies Luc Vandenberger has presented to you, like SEN, CENELEC, ISO, IEC, ETSI, but also to other standardization bodies, so-called STOs, like OPC, OASIS, W3C, etc., etc., and said, okay, these are the standardization bodies, but some of them you have to be very careful, because some of them are not elaborating open standards, but in some there are also intellectual property rights, and you need to be aware of that, especially if you apply them, because sometimes you have then to pay a licensing fee for applying the underlying technology of the standard. In the next step, we have defined the standardization strategy, and just a few days ago, we have received the result from the review from the European Commission. It was very well received by the Commission, this deliverable. And it focused not only on what are the standards, but what's the application of the standard in the project. And going one step further, are there any gaps identified, and what are the activities, how these gaps can be closed? I will present to you some examples. So we have summarized in these deliverables the fields of interest, especially those fields which are key for the success of the project. And you can see here the list of these technical activities. And I can give you now some examples where and how standards were applied or are applied in the project. Already mentioned several times in this webinar, the ISO 10303, the STEP standard, and also some counterparts from IEC. So these standards are applied in relation to the connector and the IoT gateway architecture, which are more or less the building blocks of the EFPF platform. So to ensure that the data are exchanged in a very frictionless way, and to ensure here the interoperability for the platform tools and services. The same was also done for the IC 62264, which is used to inform the design of the data spine. Again, that's the backbone of this platform, of this federated platform. And it also aligns its development with the latest standards on IoT integration in the project. But it's not only about technology, which I will continue, of course, but it's also about the governance, the management of the marketplace. And here I want to highlight two standards from ISO IEC. It's about the governance of IT for the organization. And the project has implemented these standards in the project activities, in the governance of the project, to assure that the data accountability map and the associated metrics of consideration from these ISO standards are fully adopted in EFPF. And the reason is clear. The why is to build trust in applying well-recognized standards. And building trust means also to increase the level of acceptance by current, but also future clients, future customers of this federated platform. The next one is about, the data span itself. And what you can see here is a very interesting case. Not only that we have applied these standards in the application integration and the building blocks again of the data span and the platform to ensure here again the interoperability and the alignment of the standards in dealing with message exchange in the project, is that behind these ISO IEC standards, they are coming not originally from ISO committees, but were provided by other organizations. And you can see it, for example, from the EMQP and MQTT, that behind them there, of course, are other standardization bodies which have a formal relationship with ISO and IEC GTC1. You can also see here the UPL, ISO IEC 19845, and that was considered as a cross-platform data model. And we see it here, this standard as a candidate to ensure the operationalization of this data model. Of course, if we are speaking about marketplace, we have to speak also about a secure marketplace. And if we speak about digital manufacturing domain, we need to ensure that this is also secure against cyber attacks, so cyber security. And these standards, there's a well-recognized family of standards from the ISO IEC 27000. These standards are fully adopted by the EFPF, especially for the design of the security controls. But you can see here also other specifications mentioned, like the OpenID Connect and the OAuth version 2 authorization framework. And especially these two specifications are used to enable the single sign-on functionality in the federation of the EFPF federation.
Karl, could you conclude in 3 minutes, please?
Yes, sure. I will speed up. Okay, sorry. So we have not only applied standards, we have also identified gaps. And here you can see two examples. We have identified gaps in cloud security standards, and we will communicate these findings to the respective technical bodies of ISO IEC or other standardization organizations, and also with the UPL model, where we have then a version where we will say, okay, how we can contribute to the next version. So jumping to the next level, we have seen that there are a lot of building blocks provided by standards, but we are missing one, which is really key, which is very critical for the success of the future operation of the federated manufacturing platform, which is we have, of course, a lot of reference architectures for blockchain, big data, IoT, Industry 4.0, etc., but not a single one for federated federating manufacturing platforms. So this will be the next step that we, as already mentioned by Olga, that we now are proposing the establishment of a Sensenec workshop, which will focus on a reference architecture for a federating manufacturing platform with the issues you can see it here, that then after the project duration, we will have a sustainable solution, which is of course of a huge benefit for the European economy, platform economy, but also for future platforms and clients in a very sustainable way. And let me finish my presentation again with an open call for the experimentation. So if you are interested to plug and play and play especially with our solution, you are invited to apply to this open call. You will see all the information mentioned here on the link, and there's also a nice video. But since this presentation will be shared with you after the meeting, you can see it then and look on YouTube. Thank you very much. That's from my side.